play so hard, it allowed them to stick around, to stick in the game. But eventually, you know, the size and the depth of Gainesville just carried them. You know, and Charlemagne, again, you know, we have a lot of great coaches in this area, man. So Charlemagne Givens, you know, shout out to him. I thought he did a great job of managing expectations because they were the clear-cut favorite going in.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of times you can lose sight on what's more important. But I thought this time that they managed expectations and were able to come away with a championship.
Talking with Chuck Graham, the head boys basketball coach at West Hall. He's up in Gatlinburg heading home after his team played Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and celebrating New Year's with his family. And I appreciate your time, friend, getting ready to come home today. And you got basketball coming up next week for your team. So the Region 8 AAA does not start until Friday, and everybody's playing. Got the big game with East Hall taking on Cherokee Bluff. Jefferson takes on Monroe area. You've got Oconee County to start things off Friday night.
Man, what a way to start the new year. You know, and our region will be so competitive this year. And like I tell people, man, Cherokee Bluff has been ranked in the top 5 in the state in 3A all year. So, and they actually was up here in Gatlinburg also.
Oh, how'd they do up there?
Yep. Lumpkin County boys and girls were here. I got a chance to see my good friend Brian Richardson, who coaches Lumpkin girls now. He was at East Hall last year as an boys assistant. But got a chance to spend some time with him up here. And North Forsyth was up here also.
Oh wow! So how did Cherokee Bluff and Lumpkin County do? Do you know?
I think Cherokee Bluff went 1-2. They played some really, really good teams.
Okay.
I think they ended up playing a team from Maryland that was probably ranked in the country, in the nation. So they were 1-2. A lot of good competition. And what I love about it is teams from different states. So you know we didn't play with a shot clock up here, which was different for our guys.
Oh really?
I think it's going to help Bluff, it's going to help us, and it's going to help both of those Lumpkin teams, as well as North Forsyth.
I did hear the Lumpkin girls, Coach Richardson finished 3rd in the tournament, and
yes,
that was good.
Yes, they shot the ball extremely well. I got an opportunity to see them, a quarter of them playing, and they shot the ball extremely well, like they always do. But going back to your original question, with our region, you know, Cherokee Bluff, you know, 4th in the state, they're always going to be tough. You got your East Hall. Don't let the record for East Hall fool you. You know, they fell on some times because of injuries and just, you know, having kids early enrolled in college playing football. They will be a player before it's all said and done. Jefferson, always tough. Kevin Morris does a great job with that program. So, you know, they always play hard. And then you got Monroe area. Monroe area is always athletic. And Kevin Strickland, a former coach at Chestatee,
yep.
With his son, is probably the leading returning scorer. So now he'll be.
Wow.
I think he's a junior this year. So he's a sharpshooter. And then you have Oconee, which, you know, they struggled a little bit early, but, you know, I've been watching film, and they're trying to round into shape. So with the region schedule, you know, everybody's record 0-0, so you're looking forward to starting this backslide of the season, the back end of the season.
All right, since you mentioned it, friend, I'll ask you, so since you played without a shot clock, do you like that kind of basketball, or do you like the shot clock?
I think originally when I started coaching in high school, there wasn't a shot clock. So at the end of games, depending on the lead and the situation, the clock became either an ally or a friend, you know. So
sure.
It does change the strategy. Of course, it didn't come into play here at the end of quarters. We were trying to hold the ball one time and ended up turning it over. But I do think that without the shot clock, it definitely changed the strategy. But I kind of prefer the shot clock now. Because it puts more into play when you're dealing with a game because you get more possessions.
Did you find any change in how officials up in Tennessee call basketball maybe differently down this way?
Well, you know, I think, and I don't know this for sure, but they did let the kids play, which I do appreciate that. You know, some things that probably would have been foul in Hall County was kind of like they just let you get away with it up here. But, I mean, we traveled all this way to play basketball, so I'm not complaining about that at all. And you know, like I said, once the kids, and I tell the kids this all the time, like if you feel or you see how they're calling the game, now the adjustment or the next move is on you. So you have to adjust your style of play to how the game is being officiated.
All right, friends. How forward are you kids looking to start things off on Friday? Looking forward to getting back at it?
Yeah, well, you know, being here and then getting away from it for a while, and then jumping back in and jumping back into school. And I always, you know, I think it's always great to have a routine, so the kids will get back into their routine. And now, a region play with a real opportunity now to make a push to make the playoffs. So a lot to play for, a lot to look forward to, man. It's almost like new beginnings starting out with the new year.
All right, so you start back school on Tuesday? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Well, we have a teacher work day on Monday,
okay.
And the kids will be back Tuesday.
All right, friend. Thanks so much. I appreciate it very much. Have a safe trip home, okay?
All right, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Join next Saturday? How about that? We'll get you on a regular basis.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk next Saturday.
All right, friend. I appreciate it. Be blessed, man. Thanks.
All right.
All right.
God bless.
Thank you.
Take care, Mike.
See, brother. That is Chuck Graham, the head boys basketball coach at Westall. He may become a regular here on the show on Saturday mornings talking about basketball. And he can talk about high school. He can talk about college. He can talk about pro with the Hawks and more. And I'd like to ask him next time about, I heard the rumor that's pretty prevalent now that Trae Young may be traded from the Atlanta Hawks, and we'll find out about his future. Right now, the Hawks are really hurting. They've lost a few games. They didn't break their losing streak, but they are really hurting right now physically. We'll find out more about that. Talk some college sports. We'll talk a lot about football. Harper LaBelle coming up at the bottom of the hour here on 97.5 Glory FM with a brand new year starting here on 97.5 Glory FM. And right now, we've got a live video stream going on our YouTube channel at Team Glory Sports.
On-time expert plumbing service, Conditioned Air Systems is here for you. Our plumbers deliver the highest quality service in North Georgia 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. We've been North Georgia's source for elite residential and commercial services since 1983. Our licensed plumbers offer services for installation and repairs of pipes, water heaters, septic lines, and sump pumps. Choose Conditioned Air Systems for quality service and unmatched knowledge for your plumbing needs.
Injuries are never planned and often happen after hours or over the weekend. That's why NGPG Orthopedic and Sports Medicine offers the Black and Blue Walk-In Clinic for injured athletes every Monday morning in their offices in Gainesville, Brazelton, Buford, Houston, and Jefferson. No need to call. Just walk right in between 8:30 and 11:30 on Monday mornings. And one of their sports medicine and orthopedic doctors will be there to help identify, treat, and care for your injury. To learn more, you may visit ngpg.org/blackandblue.
Here I am on the road again, ready to pick up the kids from school, go by the grocery store, and do all the things a busy mother does. It's because I just left North Hall Tire and Wheel, where they made sure I was ready to go. They put on a fresh set of tires, checked the brakes, and even the battery. I know I can trust Mike and Matt and the guys at North Hall Tire and Wheel. They have everything you need, all the name brand tires at the best prices, and the service you need. They're on Cleveland Highway in Gainesville, so give them a call at 770-297-5308.
Ever feel like your house is just missing a little something? Custom window treatments can go a long way to making your house feel like a home. Call Millie's Drapery and Decorating today for the best in custom drapery, blinds, shades, and shutters. We can schedule for one of our designers to come out to your home, take measurements, and give you an estimate right there on site. That's Millie's Drapery and Decorating, 1732 Cleveland Highway in Gainesville, or give us a call at 770-532-3819.
97.5 Glory FM.
Your radio station for North Georgia Sports. Welcome back to the Saturday Morning Sports Show every Saturday starting at 9:05. I'm with you until 10 o'clock as we bring you the latest in local sports on the high school, college, and pro scene. And coming today, we bring you college basketball action starting at 12:45 as 97.5 Glory FM is the commercial flagship radio station and the network for the Georgia State Panthers radio network. Dave Cohen is in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I'm sure getting ready to head over to Conway, home of the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina, as they get ready today. The Georgia State taking on Coastal Carolina at 1 p.m. tip-off. and they'll start things off with the pregame show at 12:45 with Dave, and I'll be manning the controls here for the network. Hope you'll join us in. They had a very good game back on Wednesday, but they fell in the last minute of the game to Marshall as the Thundering Herd defeated the Panthers 84-80 back on Wednesday here on 97.5 Glory FM. Wrapping up the calendar year of sports here on your radio station for North Georgia Sports. Now looking ahead, this year we're going to have high school basketball, high school baseball, high school football. We're also going to bring you Georgia State basketball here this spring, and then this fall, Georgia Tech football. Now, Georgia Tech football is now on 97.5 Glory FM. We brought you our first broadcast last Saturday with the Pop-Tarts Bowl as they lost their game in the last 2 minutes of play to Brigham Young. And what a great game it was, though, in our first broadcast of Georgia Tech football. And we'll be the home for the Yellow Jackets here in the North Georgia area starting in September. So stay tuned. We got that for you coming up this fall. So a lot going on here as we bring you more local sports in any radio station in North Georgia on 97.5 Glory FM. This Tuesday and Friday, Joe Gailey and I'll be with you for high school basketball. On Tuesday, it's Pickens taking on North Hall in Region 6 AAA play. Then on Friday, it's Greater Atlanta Christian in North Hall, again in Region 6 AAA play. On Tuesday, it will be on the schedule in 6 AAA. Pickens playing at North Hall. You have Chestatee on the road in Norcross taking on Greater Atlanta Christian. And then also you'll have the big game in Dahlonega as Lumpkin County plays host to Dawson County. White County has the evening off coming up on Tuesday. Then on Friday, Region 8 AAA play begins. You heard I was talking with Coach Chuck Graham there. Is West Hall playing host to Oconee County. The big game features East Hall playing at Cherokee Bluff. We'll have that matchup later on this season with Cherokee Bluff playing at East Hall. And also coming up on Fridays, Jefferson playing Monroe area, as we'll bring you basketball through the regular season, which will end on Friday night, February 13th. Then we get ready for the region and state playoffs as we'll bring you all the details of high school basketball all the way to a state championship, like it was this past year. The Cherokee Bluff girls winning the state title, and we'll follow all our local teams all the way to a state championship down in Macon here on 97.5 Glory FM. College basketball again today starting at 12:45 with Georgia State. They'll go up against the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina. And coming up next, we'll talk college football. The bowl season is really in gear, down to the Final Four in the college football playoffs, with the Fiesta Bowl and Peach Bowl taking place this week, with the winners to play for the national championship coming up on January 19th. It will be Indiana taking on Oregon for the Peach Bowl, and Miami of Florida goes up against Ole Miss in the Fiesta Bowl. Winners of those games play for the national championship. We'll talk with Harper LaBelle about that and much more coming up next on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM.
Whether it's on the football field or planning for retirement, it's important to have the right team around you to succeed. I'm Alex Sherman, quarterback for the North Hall Trojans. While I'm not throwing touchdowns, my family is assisting clients with their financial planning needs. Are you looking to retire soon? Receiving an inheritance? Selling a business? Or simply have questions about the market? The team at Sullivan & Schlimming Wealth Management is here to help. Reach out to us to make sure you and your family are surrounded by a winning team. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA and SIPC.
Hi, I'm Hope. Welcome to Long Street Cafe.
Yes, I'm the local food critic, and I'm here to see why everyone loves your food.
Sure, come with me. Here in the kitchen, you can see we're hand breading our fried chicken. Over here, we're making our homemade biscuits and cornbread.
Once a day, I presume.
More like once an hour. And here is our fresh banana pudding right out of the oven.
Wow, Long Street Cafe? You...
But the homing cooking?
By George, I think she's got it.
With 2 Gainesville locations.
If you need on-time expert plumbing service, Conditioned Air Systems is here for you. Our plumbers deliver the highest quality service in North Georgia 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. We've been North Georgia's source for elite residential and commercial services since 1983. Our licensed plumbers offer services for installation and repairs of pipes, water heaters, septic lines, and sump pumps. Choose Conditioned Air Systems for quality service and unmatched knowledge for your plumbing needs.
Shop with a purpose at the Georgia State University bookstore and wear what the Panthers wear. Hi there, it's Dave Cohen letting you know that every purchase directly benefits the Georgia State University campus community. From student scholarships to new programs, your dollars make a difference in shaping a brighter academic future for Georgia State students. Visit the Georgia State University bookstore downtown on campus at 66 Cortlandt Street and on game days at Center Park Stadium.
We're back here with the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Gloria FM. Surprise, surprise. Calling Dave Cohen a little early this morning. He's in Conway, South Carolina. You're in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Hey, buddy.
We're actually over in Myrtle Beach right now. We stay in Myrtle Beach, and then we'll head over to Conway for the game. Again, a 1 o'clock tip, 12:45 airtime right here on 97.5 FM WGTJ.
So the first question Dave asked me, said, got me for the whole 30 minutes, Mike? I said, no, just want to talk to you because my voice is already gone. You heard I've had a cold in my throat, Dave, all week long. You knew that back on Wednesday when you and I were working together. And so I was like, okay, I need some help. Harper's not available right now. And so I thought, well, let's go ahead. And I had the commercial there for the bookstore there at Georgia State. So let's go ahead and talk to Dave and get you out of there because I'm sure the bus is leaving soon, isn't it?
Probably around 10:30, 11 o'clock, we'll head over to Conway, and kids will get in some shots. And then, we were over there for practice last night, and so they'll get over there a little early for this early afternoon game. Again, a 1 o'clock tip-off. And, both teams coming off a loss. Georgia State had a 4-point loss up in Huntington, West Virginia on Wednesday afternoon, 84-80, the final score there. And then we were kind of scoreboard watching later that afternoon as we made our way over here to Myrtle Beach. Georgia Southern came into Conway and on a late whistle needed just a free throw to beat Coastal Carolina 82-81. So both teams looking to rebound, both Georgia State and Coastal Carolina 1-2 in Sun Belt Conference play. So, they all count, Mike. And even this early in the season, it's a big game. It's not a game you want to look back at and say, man, woulda, coulda, shoulda, that we missed a great opportunity. So this would be a great opportunity to split on the road.
Yep.
Feels like we've been on the road most of the season. I think out of 14 games at this point, we've only played 4 of them in Atlanta at the Convocation Center. Everything else has been on the road. So, this will close out another 2-game swing, Marshall and Coastal Carolina, and hopefully we can get a split and get back to Atlanta tonight and then get ready for a quick turnaround with regards to the opponent because you got Appalachian State and Marshall.
Yep.
We just recently played and won at Appalachian State. But we got both the Mountaineers and the Thundering Herd coming into Atlanta. So, some teams with some familiarity going to make a quick turnaround and come play us on our home court.
But, Dave, in the way the schedule is in the Sun Belt, you play home and home, then you play on the road. And I like what Coach Hayes says. If you can split on the road, and the big thing is taking care of the games at the Convocation Center. But if you will split on the road, you're in pretty good shape in the Sun Belt.
Yeah, the one that got away, Mike, that was a real woulda, coulda, shoulda was the loss to Presbyterian by a point, and that was early in the season.
Sure.
And, as Coach Hayes and I have talked a couple of times here on recent Panther pregame shows, even from the get-go, the roster has been in flux.
Oh, sure.
Clash Peters was, with us last year, and family issues have kept him away from the basketball team this year. And that's a player that really was going to figure into the rotation this year.
Mm-hmm.
And, so right from the get-go, then you had injuries to Ja'Kai Newton, and you had injuries to Jelani Hamilton, 2 of your top players. And so the roster has kind of never been settled in flux up until about a week and a half ago. And they started out, they had won 3 of their last 4 going into Marshall with wins over Jacksonville State, a great win at Appalachian State, an expected win against Columbia College at home. So now they've won 3 of their last 5, and the roster has really just kind of settled. They know that Clash is not coming back. There's one other player that did not come back and join the team after the holidays, but, not much of a loss points wise there. So right now, as Coach and I have talked about, what you see is what you've got to play with. Knock on wood that everybody stays healthy, but this will be the team, this will be the rotation, that takes Georgia State all the way to Pensacola for the Sun Belt Conference Tournament throughout the rest of January, February, and then into early March.
That game back on Wednesday, Dave, was so competitive there, and it went down to the last minute of the play.
Sure did, and a lot of times you can look back and say this call or that call. I thought it was a very well officiated game. There was a couple of calls that, especially the technical against Ja'Kai Newton. All Ja'Kai was trying to do was throw the ball, ricochet the ball off one of the Marshall players' legs. He ends up getting a technical because they ruled that he threw the ball at the player, like in a vicious way. And that was not the case at all. I talked to Ja'Kai, later that afternoon after the game. He said, I was just trying to throw the ball off of the player's leg to maintain possession.
Yeah.
So you throw in a foul and the technical. Now, fortunately, the player, the Greer kid, the Spear kid, Jamal Spear, he ended up hitting 2 of the 4. He missed one of each of the technical free throw and the regular foul that was called. And then there was one other call late in the game when they were kind of letting the players play, where Jelani Hamilton went in and, got absolutely mugged and knocked to the floor.
And Dave goes, he called a foul on that?
Shot.
Yes.
There was no whistle there.
Yes.
And so, that should have been 2 free throws. In most other situations, that would have been a whistle and 2 free throws, but you didn't get it. But as I said, and you know this, Mike, you've been around the game a long time, that's what you face when you're playing on the road, even as a conference game.
Yes.
You still face a little bit of that adversity playing on the road, knowing that you've got to have enough of a lead, enough of a cushion to be able to absorb the lack of a call or maybe a call that you don't think, should have been whistled for.
And they call it differently, it seems like, in the second half compared to the first half, don't they? It's like, okay, all of a sudden, the second half, you start having calls go against you. It's like, okay, you're always having to struggle to get past that point.
Well, teams end up depending on how the game goes, teams end up starting to play with that sense of urgency.
Sure.
And the sense of urgency probably comes a little more physicality.
Yep.
Little bumping, little this and a little of that. So sometimes, in order to maintain control of the game situation, officials, may end up, utilizing the whistle in a situation where maybe in the first half they wouldn't. All in the attempt to maintain control of, the physicality of the game. So, like I said, if you're the road team, which in this case we are, and in the case that we were the other day in Huntington, you really have to have unless it's going to be a nail biter, you've really got to have enough of a points cushion to absorb things like that happening. And we didn't have that. It was a nail biter. And, Georgia State got down early, but as they have done on more than one occasion this year, they kicked it into third and fourth gear, battled back, eventually taking a lead, had a lead at halftime the other day over at Huntington.
Yep.
And I knew the whole time I'm sitting there, at halftime, I'm like, buckle up. This is going to come right down to the very end. And sure enough, that's what happened.
All right, final thing for you, friend. Tell me about, is it a good thing celebrating the New Year's with the team being together there, out of town, you get a chance maybe to go to the beach, that kind of thing?
Well, we're about a block over from the beach, so, I've just walked over there, got a couple of other haunts that I like to go to, including Mike's Soul Food, where the team ate last night. If you're ever in Myrtle Beach, this is a great little hole-in-the-wall restaurant. It's not far from the Myrtle Beach Convention Center where
cool.
the team stays, and football stays here as well. But, yeah, it's a little different. My wife and family, they were down in Mexico Beach, Florida. And normally I would be with them, but instead I was in Huntington and now Myrtle Beach. So, yeah, it's a little different.
You
but,
say,
that's what happens when you're
yes.
associated with one of these college teams. They play this, these teams play during the holidays.
Yes, they do, yeah.
So if you're with them, then you're with them. And, I'm with them, and it was fine, was able to ring in the new year in a different way this year, but it was certainly enjoyable, and it'll be a lot more enjoyable if we pull out a win today and head back to Atlanta 1-1 on this leg of the Sun Belt road trip.
And we're with you today. 12:45 will be the pregame show, counting down a tip-off day with Dave 1 p.m. It's the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, the Beach Birds, taking on the Panthers at Georgia State, and they'll have the tip-off starting at 1 p.m. It will be the network affiliate for you. It will carry the controls for you here, and so everything's going to work out good today. I know Dave's going to be a great broadcast, and we'll talk to you then, friend, okay?
All right, Mike, thank you. We'll talk to you later this afternoon.
As always says, bring home a W, friend. We'll talk to you later, okay? Thanks. Appreciate it very much. That is Dave Cohen, the voice of Georgia State. Hey, follow him on X at GA State Voice. That's at GA State Voice. And coming up next, we'll have things that we'll talk football with Harper LaBelle here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM with live video stream on YouTube at Team Glory Sports.
Injuries are never planned and often happen after hours or over the weekend. That's why NGPG Orthopedic and Sports Medicine offers the Black and Blue Walk-In Clinic for injured athletes every Monday morning in their offices in Gainesville, Brazelton, Beaufort, Houston, and Jefferson. No need to call. Just walk right in between 8:30 and 11:30 on Monday mornings. And one of their sports medicine and orthopedic doctors will be there to help identify, treat, and care for your injury. To learn more, you may visit ngpg.org/blackandblue.
Hi, it's your favorite college girl Amaya here. I chose Georgia State because it's the best of both worlds. The excitement of Atlanta with a real sense of community. GSU isn't just a college, it's an experience that helps me grow and get ready for my future. Every single day, I'm surrounded by opportunities to learn, connect, and shine. I'm happy to call GSU home. And honestly, I'm so proud to be a Panther because there's nothing like the State Way.
97.5 Glory FM, your radio station for North Georgia Sports. Going to go back to the phone now and talk to Harper LaBelle, who's our football expert here on 97.5 Glory FM. Hey, Harper, happy New Year, friend.
Happy New Year, Mike, to you and all of yours and everybody listening out there. Good morning. I'm out here in Los Angeles.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not know that. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, we had a death in the family. My wife's mother passed, and we had her. They don't call them funerals anymore, Mike, do they? It's not a funeral. It's a celebration of life or a service or whatever. But we said goodbye to her yesterday, and gosh, what an interesting time out here. I was on the plane, if you don't mind me telling the story.
Please do.
And everybody on New Year's Day, when we're traveling, actually it was New Year's Eve, December 31st, was wearing a Bama or a Indiana Hoosier sweat top. All the connecting flights for certain airlines go through Atlanta, and certainly on New Year's Day there were a ton of different people. I'd say Roll Tide to one, I'd say Go Hoosiers to others, and they were all out here for the Rose Bowl. So I know the Indiana fans were pretty excited. What a great game for them. Gosh, they played well.
Well, first off, thoughts go and prayers go to your family. I did not know you were out. I would never have called you if I'd known you were out in L.A. because that's 3 hours earlier there. We're talking 6:45, almost down in the morning there on the West Coast. You get, you still living on East Coast time or West Coast time right now, friend?
Oh gosh, I don't know. My body is we don't know. But
okay.
As the Francis Key Scott on the dawn's early light, it's just. Kind of creeping up. It's rained here so much that everybody here locally says,
what was up
we don't
with
want
that?
More water. They need it, but they don't want it. So it's one of those interesting.
Like, what was up with that? My wife and I were going to watch the Rose Parade, and they were talking about. So how's it going to affect the flowers on the floats and everything? Would it help them or would it, close them up? I didn't know how things were going to be, but it was like, okay, raining in there, Pasadena for the Rose Bowl Parade. That was really something to see. But I was going to talk about these games, man. Look at the four quarterfinal games, and we talk about there's something going on with teams that get buys, don't they? Because only Indiana was able to do anything, and boy, they laid it on Alabama.
Sure did. I got to meet Curt Cignetti last year in Atlanta when he received the Eddie Robinson Coach of the Year award, and I just for a few seconds got to visit with him one-on-one. His wife was just a few feet away, but he didn't need her. She didn't need him. And I said, I do the radio with Georgia State. I just want to say thank you for all that you've done to help the Sun Belt and
Absolutely.
what you're doing now.
Yep.
And remember, Mike, he's doing a lot of this with 3- and 4-star guys. Indiana doesn't get any 5-stars. So he's out coaching people. He's doing something different.
Sure is.
His intensity level, his ability to get guys to play with a chip on their shoulder and really give everything they have I'm sure they do it at practice every day, but using that as a momentum factor against the five-star guys. And boy, they just laid it on. And you're right, with Texas Tech, you've got Georgia, of course, and then with Ohio State, all going down and looking rusty.
Yep.
Looking like they like they were a West Coast team traveling east. They needed a half to warm up, and Ole Miss certainly didn't play around. They scored just like they did all year long, whether they lose their coach or not. They were on a mission, and so was Oregon, for example. And obviously Indiana's the favorite to continue. Sorry, Mike, I'm talking.
No, I want you to do this. This is what it's all about, friend. So tell me about Kurt Cinetti. Let everybody know that people know he was at James Madison when they moved into the Sun Belt Conference. Then he goes from James Madison to Indiana to turn that program around, and nobody thought that he would do what he did so quickly.
No, that's why I'm saying there's something different. He turned James Madison into a national contender in a year or two. Now, Dave and I have talked about this on numerous occasions. For those lists, Dave Cohen with Georgia State, that they made a significant financial and I'll call it an all-in, Texas Hold'em all-in investment into their athletic program.
Yep.
And look what it did. You had Kirk Herbstreit and Lee Corso on your campus at the end of the year doing college game day. Who would have thunk it, right, Mike? I mean,
sure.
Just whatever. And then Indiana says, come do that with us. And I don't know if that was his top choice, but he took it. And as quickly as he's turned that program into a national powerhouse in 2 years, they've gone from ho-hum into they might win the national championship. And they have they're the odds-on favorite right now. If you had money in Vegas,
sure.
That's where it goes. They're probably the lowest odds. If they were 2-1 and Oregon is 4-1, and I'm just making this up. Ole Miss might be up there, but gosh, what a turnaround for him, and to quickly do so. It's his assistant coaches. It's the mindset. There's something he does that's different that other people should be emulating and copying.
So you can hear it now, Big Ten, because Oregon, they laid it on. It was Texas Tech with what they did.
Defensively, Tech was one of the top 5 scoring schools in the country, and they also got a game. They got that warm-up game against Tulane, and you got James Madison that's in there, and I get it. I know how it works, but I am just fascinated. Last year, I think all 4 of the bye teams lost, and this year 3 of the 4. So there's going to be some angry people, and I don't know how you take 25 days off or whatever it is, and expect your team to be playing just like they did in the SEC championship or last game of the year against your rival.
Well, think about this week, the Peach Bowl. It should be just one of those premier games when you have the 2 Big Ten teams, Oregon taking on Indiana this week.
Yeah, and if you'd had 2 SEC teams playing, if you had the 2 playing each other, but you got to get rid of them so they don't play each other in the final. I think that's the thing, that they try to seed them in a way that we can do it in the quarters, but we don't want a Georgia-Alabama 3rd matchup for the season again for folks in Colorado or Idaho or Wyoming. They don't want to watch that, right? They've seen enough of it. So networks do what they do. NCAA does what they do, and we just get to reap the benefit of it. So I guess that's what we're doing, Mike. We're just reaping some benefits right now.
All right, so let's talk about Georgia football. The game with Ole Miss a couple nights ago. You look at how that game went. It's like Ole Miss didn't miss Lane Kiffin at all, did they?
Offensively, I am fascinated with their deep crossing routes and the way Trinidad was able to wait in the pocket and have time to throw, and he looked like it was 9-on-7 at times. And they are very impressive. And I think they have a chip on their shoulder. You mentioned it, hey, we lost our coach, but that's it. And they, I think, had a team meeting, maybe a players only, but with the new coach and the folks that stayed, they looked around the room. This is all we got, guys, and it's us against the rest of the world. Someone didn't want to be here, he's not here. But everyone else does, and let's make the best of this situation. And they did. They were us against the world against Georgia. Georgia should have played harder. I know it. Every Georgia fan is a little upset. But Ole Miss is for real.
Oh, sure.
And they played Georgia, 6 weeks ago, whatever it was.
Back in October.
And maybe 8 weeks ago, sorry. But, that's losing your coach, playing for it all. There were a lot of different motivational reasons where Ole Miss played their best, and we'll see how they do this week against Oregon.
So go back to the quarterback, for example. There you are. You're third down on your 25-yard line. You're out of timeouts. You're tied, and you got, about 20 seconds to go in the ball game. And it's like, okay, does he settle for this or does he go for it? And it's like he threw that ball past the deep defenders for Georgia and almost went for a touchdown.
They are a no-risk offense, meaning they'll do anything it takes. And I've seen it all year long. I mean, I saw it in person, game one, when Georgia State played against them.
Yes.
And they're very good. And like I said, their deep crossing routes are as good as anybody. They know how to get open, and the synchronicity, the connection between the receivers, the quarterbacks, the offensive line, it's as good as you can get for a college game. And I'm just excited to see it. And, congratulations to them. They were just a little bit better defensively. I think they played hard enough to, they're not embarrassed by the way they played. But it wasn't perfect, but it was good enough to win.
Well, you look at how close Georgia came. They had that third down play inside the 10-yard line and couldn't convert that pass play that would have won the ball game. They had settled for a game-tying field goal, and the defenses couldn't stop them. And they get that field goal with 6 seconds left, and that was the most bizarre ending probably in any Georgia game ever.
That's what the playoff is all about, and I think it's great for the game. Now, again, Georgia loses, and I'm not happy about that for any Georgia fan. I'm just saying good games as opposed to the Indiana-Alabama game.
Right, exactly.
The Texas Tech-Oregon game. They were good for a quarter, but not for the whole thing. So it was fun to watch if you're a football fan. If you're a Georgia-only fan, it wasn't a good day. If you're a Mississippi Ole Miss fan, it was a great day for you. It was one of the best in their history. So lots of reasons to celebrate that and then move on. Guess what? The winner gets to play, 2 more chances to eventually win a championship.
All right, so the other game we'll talk about real quickly, friend, is that Miami of Florida game. And you got former Georgia quarterback Carson Beck. And I don't think anybody thought they would even be close to situation being in the Final Four.
I thought their team speed defensively was going to be a factor. And boy, did it turn out to be one where their defensive ends just gave the tackles for Ohio State a lot of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where a team speed, was it with Tebow, when they won the national championship, they were smaller but so doggone fast when they played a really big Ohio State team for the national championship. And
good point.
It's just, you can be big, but if you're big and you don't run straight ahead, now you're vulnerable. And that's what I thought Ohio State was going to do. I really did. But the first quarter, they were negative 9 yards because of a couple sacks. Rushing the ball, they couldn't. They didn't try. They didn't go in between the tackles. And I thought we're bigger. We've got earth movers. Let's establish a run game. Let's slow this game down and do what we do. And really from the second series on, I just thought Ohio State was kind of out of sync, and they didn't look good. And they kind of forced something. That screen, that bubble screen that was intercepted, that was a difference in the game for me.
I didn't really, besides the Indiana game, is that we looked at the point, it proved to me a lot that the running game is so important. And I thought Georgia had a deeper running attack than they did. But it was like, okay, if something doesn't work, you got to try something else, it seems like. But the running game, but you can't just have your quarterback running at will, that kind of thing.
It's a real phenomenon for me, Mike, because if I'm an Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Big Ten cold weather team at home, my running game is critical. Sure. I have to be able to run the ball.
Great
Indiana has to be able to. They were in the top 10 all year rushing. Think about that. That's Indiana, right?
Sure.
But then you go to a bowl game, and you're in a neutral site, and you're in a warm climate, and you're playing against a smaller, faster team that relies on speed, not power. And then you start doing things differently. Why are we throwing bubble screens? That's not what we do. We go down the field. I've got the best receiver in the game. Why are we doing that? And, you can second-guess everything. But that's the part that makes it fascinating, is that when you get behind, you do things differently, you get out of your norm, and sometimes the players notice that, and they have one little hiccup. Next thing you know, you're out of the ball game. So that's what championships are all about, is just doing the right things consistently in a way that you win and you dominate. And for 3 of the 4 teams that got the byes, they didn't do anything like it.
Again, the Final Four taking place this week. The Fiesta Bowl, Miami going up against Ole Miss. The Peach Bowl, what game it should be, Indiana taking on Oregon. 2 Big Ten teams coming up this week. Talking to Harper LaBelle, our football expert. I'll give you a shout out if I could, buddy, from this standpoint. You can follow him. He's got a podcast now, and I've subscribed to it. I encourage you to subscribe to it. 100 Yards of Football. You can find it, and you can watch Harper talk about football and other sports on his podcast there, the 100 Yards of Football. A very enjoyable thing to watch sometime during the week, and I encourage you to do that. Let's turn to the NFL. Wrap things up this week. First, let's talk about the NFC South. It's like, okay, somebody's going to probably finish below 500 and go to the playoffs, aren't they?
If there's any organization that can do it, it's an NFC South team, Mike. They've struggled for years. Yeah, the tiebreaker, the way I understand it, if Carolina wins, they're done. They're in. They win the division. If Tampa wins and the Falcons win, Tampa's out, even though they won because of a tiebreaker.
Okay.
So they need to wait till Sunday in order to know whether or not they made it, if Tampa wins. But if Carolina does it, and gosh, they look horrible. Bryce Young is a on-again, off-again quarterback. I don't know if he's their guy. I mean, he is right now, but I don't know 3 years from now if he's going to be under center. I just don't know. He's just so inconsistent. He throws for 300 yards and has 6 touchdowns against the Falcons.
Yes.
in the 2 games that they play. And then he has 104 yards in a must-win playoff scenario that it's tough to watch. But anyways, yeah, the flex games are going to be obviously with the AFC North and the Steelers-Ravens, winner take all, and then then Tampa and Carolina too. A lot to watch here later today.
So this thing, everybody knows, there's Saturday football to watch with the NFL, and then everything ends as far as no Monday night game, of course, getting ready for the playoffs coming up next week. Tell me about this. I did hear that Green Bay is going to rest their quarterback. He's had been in concussion protocol, but it's okay. We're going to rest him anyway because it doesn't matter what we do if we win or lose because we already know what seed we're going to be in the tournament coming up next week. From a fan standpoint, you want your best out there, but at the same time, okay, you want to wait to the playoffs. It's one of those dilemmas that the NFL's got right now.
Yeah, a guy that is, if he gets hit and bangs his head again and misses your playoff game, everyone's going to say, what the heck were you thinking? You're already in. It's not going to affect your positioning. So, you're going to be the last seed. Just take advantage of that and keep your quarterback healthy. Give him an extra week to rest. I understand that. But, yeah, a fan is going, no, I'm not going to pay, good money to watch the backup, which, by the way, Malik is he played really well last week, even though they lost. And he's auditioning. He could be a free agent and could be he could be in Atlanta next year. Who knows?
I was going to say the exact same thing, yes.
Guys they're playing for real, and they want an opportunity to shine. So, he's not going to go out there to lose it, but it's not the starter. It's not who you're going to see in week 1 of the playoffs next week.
All right, so he's my GM, and he should be the commissioner of the league from the standpoint. Nobody knows the business standpoint of NFL like Harper LaBelle. Is Kirk Cousins tomorrow his last game with the Falcons?
He signed a 4-year deal, Mike, and everybody was talking about it being a 2-year deal. I don't understand that because when you draft Michael Penix and sign Kirk Cousins in the same draft cycle, within a month with free agency and everything, I thought the Falcons said, we fixed one of the problems of the many that we have in our quarterback room. We never have to worry about that again. That didn't work, right? So Kurt may opt out. Penix may be let go. I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying those are options. And they both may be in camp ready to give 100%. Because of Penix's knee, I don't think he'll be ready at that time, but I'm not the medical staff. I don't know. It's just one of those tough situations, Mike, where there's so many different options, If he plays well again, why would you get rid of him? You're already paying him. You're going to be obligated for that money. The cap money is about $40 million a year.
That's the question. Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
I'll say the question is, but the cap money is, okay, can the Falcons afford Kirk Cousins next year? What do they do? Because it's a lot of money going into him next year.
What do you do is based on, your long-term plan. If you can't trade him and somebody else accept all that money, then who has the money to do that? Cleveland? No. There's some teams that just couldn't. They may want him, but why? Unless he plays well again this week. If he beats the Saints, it helps him tremendously, I think. If he doesn't beat them, does that mean he'll never play quarterback again? I don't know, but it's going to be a situation where you're going to have a team and an owner and a GM and a head coach that are going to want him specifically and all that money. I don't know how you do it. I just don't know.
We'll find out next week also if Raheem Morris is still the coach of the Atlanta Falcons. A lot of questions that. Harper, thanks again, friend. We appreciate it. Everyone's have a great week, and again, Happy New Year to you. Our best going to your family. We'll talk to you next week, friend, okay?
Thank you, Mike. Look forward to it. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it very much. It's 10 o'clock here at 97.5 Glory FM. We're WGTJ, Murrayville, Gainesville, and W248DL, Murrayville, Gainesville.
Country.